Hi there, everybody. Welcome once again to the ThermoWorks Barbecue Patio. I'm Chef Martin, and today we're bringing the heat with the amazing Chef Harry Soo of Slap Yo Daddy Barbecue. You've seen him on barbecue shows. You've seen his YouTube channel. You love him. We're so happy to have you here, Harry. I'm excited.
Chef Martin, I'm so happy to be here in Salt Lake City. My first time in town at the beautiful ThermoWorks headquarters. We have an amazing series of dishes to show you today.
Yeah.
And we're going to start off today with something that you were able to source.
Yeah, we got some whole plate short ribs here. What is it that we're going to be doing with these today, Harry?
I think we're going to show you some competition style beef short rib. I'm going to show the exact recipe I used to win the KCBS championship a few years ago. So we're going to do a little bit of a Slap Your Daddy butter cola beef short ribs.
That sounds great. Stick around and find out how we do it. That sounds amazing. What do we need to do to get started?
Well, we want to get started by first picking the short rib. And for those of you at home who are not aware where the beef short rib comes from, if you want to kind of bang your chest a little bit, that's where they come from. This is the spare rib of the cow.
Okay, great.
There's a left and a right one. And these are also known as the dinosaur ribs.
Okay, yeah.
Always a great cut of meat to serve friends and family, especially on special occasions such as Father's Day, Valentine's Day. So it is my all-time favorite cut of beef rib to cook. There's another rib also called the back rib. It comes on the back, where the baby backs come from. So that one doesn't have so much meat, but the beef short rib is definitely the way to go if you want to impress your friends and family.
That sounds great. So what are we going to do with it?
So what we want to do is, the first thing you want to do is want to know how to buy a beef short rib. And as we know in America, can anybody guess at home how many grades of beef that we have? Most people believe that that's just 3, which is PCS, Prime, Choice, and Select. But there's actually about 8 grades of beef that you don't hear about, such as commercial, cutter, Canada, utility, and so on. But when you buy beef short rib, just buy the best you can find. If you can find prime, get some prime ones.
Right, yeah.
So these are really nice beef short rib. They are very thick, and you want to make sure that there's a lot of marbling. And this comes with a little bit of what I call a fascia or silver skin.
Okay.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have Chef Martin help us out. I'm going to do some trimming. We're going to do some close-ups. We'll do some trimming. We're going to use a 6-inch boning knife. And this is where you get into a 3-hour argument and Jerry Springer fist fight, right? Rest in peace, Jerry Springer, he passed away. But, in barbecue, we always say, we like to have fun, have joy in barbecue. Some people like the flexi knife. Some people like the stiff knife. So are you a stiffy or are you a flexi?
It depends on the job. So sometimes I use one, sometimes use another. For something like this, I actually like it stiff. So we've got the stiff one.
We have the right tool. So Chef Martin is going to basically run his knife underneath the fascia and trim off the silver skin. Now, this is another 3-hour argument, Jerry Springer fist fight. People say that the silver skin will melt away when you cook it around 140 degrees. But I'm one of those people. I like my rubs touching the protein. So when I cook it, we have that beautiful fusion and that Maillard reaction of the seasonings fusing into the protein and the amino acids of the meat. So Chef Martin is going to be doing some trimming, and just be very careful.
Yeah. Always cut towards your body. Cut towards your art. No, just kidding.
So the reason that I'm letting Chef Martin trim instead of me is because I just got off an airplane, been on the airplane for 26 hours, all the way from Singapore, teaching a private class. So now my fingers and hands may not be as steady as they need to be. So Chef Martin is going to do a good job trimming off the silver skin. This is completely optional. Some people believe that you should leave the silver skin on because it protects the meat. So I always tell people, cook with the method that gives you most joy. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to other people. Try it yourself, because in barbecue, you always want to know. You don't want to believe. Don't believe me.
Yeah.
Always try it yourself. And whatever you do, always have joy doing it your way.
I love that. Yeah, absolutely. So how does that look?
That looks good. Okay.
Great. We'll do the other one there too.
Yeah, all right. Since we are here at the ThermoWorks headquarters, so what kind of a ThermoWorks devices and thermometers are you going to dazzle me with today?
Yeah, so we're going to use, certainly we're going to use a Smoke X2 or a Smoke X4 for this. We want to monitor the cook as it's going along.
Okay.
So if we use the Smoke X4, we can monitor our pit temp, and we can have our probe in each slab. So I think we'll probably do that. And of course, we'll be using our Thermopen 1 to check the tenderness and the final temperature when we get there. But those things ought to be what we're doing. What kind of a smoker do we want to cook these on, though?
I think we want to get something that is easy to run.
Okay.
I'm one of those that I'm okay cooking on a wireless
All right.
cooker and all the way to a manual cook. But I think that these will take about 6 or 7 hours. So I'll leave it up to you to decide what kind of smoker you like.
All right.
And then we should also talk a little bit about the kind of wood choices that you like here in Utah.
Well, you know, Utah doesn't have as big of a barbecue tradition as, say, Texas. In Texas, it's all about post oak, right? Everybody wants to use the oak. Other places, they're more excited about pecan wood or something like that. We don't have anything that we're really excited about here that is endemic to our state, that is the barbecue wood. Although I know that some people swear by our local Gamble oak.
Gamble oak.
Gamble oak, okay. Also called scrub oak. We don't have any of that wood here. We're probably going to go with either apple or possibly some cherry wood for this, I think.
Sounds like a winning combination.
I think so too. So we've got all the fascia trimmed off of this. What happens next?
What I'd like to have you do is let's add a couple of smears. So I like to smear because the smear allows the rub to stick. And we're going to transfer it onto a pan.
Okay.
So, all right. So I have some beef broth here. Actually, it's beef kind of consomme. Okay. And you can go ahead and give it a nice gentle massage.
Gotcha.
So when I was teaching in England, they said that I said it incorrectly. It's not massage, it's massage. So give it a massage
give it
on
a
it.
massage. Yes, all right.
And then the same here. And let's do it on both sides. I'll flip it over. Have you flip it over?
Sure,
let's do the other side. And this really supercharges the flavor. This is the competition trick. We also use a little bit of Worcestershire or Worcestershire, we call it. And this will give it a little bit more flavor. So we use a combination of some beef bouillon as well as a little bit of Worcestershire.
All right, that sounds delicious. Oh yeah, and that's already that's already packing those loads of flavor.
Yeah, it's gonna soak in, and you can see what's happening is if you wait a little bit, you can see that the protein microfibrils are absorbing the marinade.
Once we've got the smears on there, what happens next?
All right, so what we're gonna do is since this is a little bit of a competition style beef short rib, we're gonna take it up the ante.
Okay.
Ordinarily, if you're at home, you can just use a regular salt and pepper, preferably 16 mesh with kosher salt. That works really well. But since we're gonna give you guys kind of a flavor of what a competition beef short rib looks like, we're gonna layer with some products that will give it additional flavor.
Okay.
So the first product we're gonna put on is kind of a Texas brisket magic rub, which is a kind of a salt and pepper rub. I'll show you how it looks like. So if you apply this carefully, I've designed it so that the black specks are exactly 3 millimeters apart. Because I'm OCD and when we compete, we want to impress the judges with the beautiful black specks on the meat. So if you can sprinkle it on kind of like that, that'll work. Kind of like that. Okay, so go ahead and sprinkle it on. Just a nice light layer, just a light layer. A little bit less, a little bit less. Okay, yeah. Okay, go ahead and move it around. Just a little bit less, kind of like that. So layer one is the kind of the black pepper, kosher salt hit. It's also got additional umami products like shiitake mushrooms. It's got things like powdered seaweed. So I kind of supercharge it a little bit to make it kind of work. That looks perfect.
Great.
All right, let's get the First Place USA beef rub. This is one I used to win First Place USA sirloin and brisket. Right. And you're going to apply this, kind of a medium coat on this one. And I like to apply it a little higher. So when you do a little higher, it kind of more even. One tip I want to give you folks at home is that when you apply it too close to the meat, sometimes it clumps. And we say in competition barbecue, one missing shake, you lose a $10,000 prize. One too many, you also lose a $10,000. So the key is to kind of get it right. And Chef Martin is doing a great job. And you notice how he shakes the bottle and he applies it. That is a hallmark of a pro. If you shake the rub's gonna clump up, and you got to kind of shake the rub before you apply it on. Okay, maybe a little bit more. We want a little bit more primarily because a beef short rib has a lot of meat in it, and you really want to add more seasoning. Because this is going to be a long cook, you want that flavor to penetrate the protein.
And it's hard to over season this much meat, right?
Yes. Now we're going to add a little bit of a umami punch, umami bomb. Okay. It's an interesting rub because it has a tremendous amount of flavor. It's got unconventional ingredients in there, so we're going to put in about that much of it. See that?
Okay.
That much. Okay. And we're going to get a nice even coat. So the next question you're going to ask me is, Harry, do you want to season the other side? My answer is no, because that's the part of the short rib you're going to eat. And on the bone side, you really are not going to be eating that part because that part is discarded. So on a beef short rib, the wind's blowing?
Yeah, the wind's blowing it off here.
So you're going to go give it a pat. So I like to pat my rubs. I never rub a rub because when you rub a rub, it becomes uneven. And I'm just going to touch up some of the parts here. Just get it nice and even. And Get a little bit more rub on it for supercharging. So what we want to do is now we're ready to let the seasoning sit.
Okay.
So that the salt will penetrate and the flavor will penetrate. You can cook this right away, but I prefer to let it sit for at least an hour. And if you want to let it sit overnight, that's even better.
All right. Well, then we'll come back here after this is sat for a while. I can't wait to taste this because it already smells amazing and it doesn't even smell like cooked beef yet. This is going to be delicious. Stick with us. We're going to have some great food here.
Hey, Martin, it looks like the beef ribs are just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
We had it sit overnight with the 3 layers of rub together with the beef consomme on top. And now, next thing we want to do is we want to cook it. Now, when you cook beef ribs, it's a 3-hour argument as to what temperature we want to cook it at.
Okay.
So there are some folks who believe you have to cook it low and slow, below 225. There are some who believe that you want to cook it kind of medium, around 275. And for those out there, they want to cook it hot and fast. So today, why don't we try a little radical approach? You good? Let's cook it hot and fast. Let's cook it around 300, 325.
All right, let's give it a shot. So we've got our Weber Smokey Mountain heated up, and we've got our Smoke X4 in there. And that's going to be running the billows fan to keep us at temperature, as well as monitoring our pit temps and monitoring our meat temps as we cook. So let's go ahead and get those on.
Now, what is this billows thing that you have going on here?
The billows is our barbecue control fan.
And folks, don't do what I've done. I've removed the lid of the Weber Smokey Mountain. This is a pit made by Weber. It's known as a water smoker because it has a pan that you can put water in. We're going to cook it dry. I opened the door so that I could get the temperature up quickly. Because if I had the door closed and had the vent set up, it'll just take about 45 minutes. So this way, I'm going to be able to get it up to about 300, 325 degrees within, say, 5 to 10 minutes. When you do this, you got to be very careful because you can set your house on fire because there's live embers there. Because
we're doing 2 racks of ribs here, we've got our air probe mounted right underneath our grate, right where our meat's going to be. So we've got plenty of surface space to do this, but we're still getting a really accurate temperature for where the meat is.
Okay, absolutely. And we've got a couple of probes here. What are you going to do with these probes here?
I'm going to put 1 probe into each rack of ribs. And so we can keep an eye on both temperatures to see, make sure they're both getting done the right way. So here, why don't you grab the ribs and put the ribs on where you want.
Okay, folks, these are called beef short ribs. There's a bone there. You do not want to poke the probe and touch the bone. So I'm going to feel for it here, and the bones are going this way, right? So I'm going to probe it this way. So the meat probe goes between the bones, like that. And you want to kind of get it in deep and make sure that you don't touch the bone because the bone will register a false reading. For you here. Thank you. Right in the middle here. Just like that. On the wires, and we'll just close it down. Try not to crimp the wires too much. So a couple of black belt tips here. Number 1, we have the fan on this side. And we have an exhaust damper. The exhaust damper must go on the opposite side of the intake so that we have a cross convection flow diagonally through the Weber Smokey Mountain so that the hot air exhausts this way. That way you can bathe your meat in that smoke for the next 5 to 6 hours.
Fantastic. Well, we'll let this go. Do we have, what doneness temperature are we looking for on the ribs? Right? Are we going to wrap them? What's going to happen next?
I suggest we go primarily based on color. The temperature will be a guide, and based on the Weber Smokey Mountain, it's going to be ready for the next phase of wrapping at approximately between 145 to 165. But that's just a guide. We can set a little timer on it, but we're going to go with color, and we're going to teach you guys how to do the Slap Your Daddy scratch test.
All right. We've got it set right now for 150, right, between those temperatures.
Perfect. So when it comes to cooking temperatures on your pit, it's a 3-hour argument in Jerry Springer fist fight. May he rest in peace. We have basically 4 tribes out there. The first tribe is the tribe of the ultra low and slow, folks who like to cook below 200 degrees. Then we have low and slow, the tribe of 225 to 250. We have hot and fast, 275 to 300, and we have the ultra hot and fast above 325. Which of these temperature ranges you love to cook is really up to you. So long as you have joy cooking food, you can get great results in any of those 4 temperature ranges. So today, so that we're doing a faster cook, we're going to try a little hot and fast cook at about 325-ish. I expect at 325, we will be able to get to the wrap phase in about 3 hours.
Okay.
Followed by maybe another 2 hours in the foil wrap, and then we should be ready to enjoy these butter cola first place KCBS beef ribs in about 5 hours. That's the goal.
I look forward to it. We'll see you in 5 hours.
So looking at the beef short rib, you notice how it's pooling. See it right here? So all this pooling will cause a problem. You're not going to be able to get crust, which is the Maillard reaction. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to use a little black belt tip. I'm going to just tip the beef short rib like so that it drains nicely, just like that. So just a simple tip. You can use a bamboo. You can use a block of wood, a bamboo, or you can use a piece of foil. So right now, it's kind of tilted.
Harry, our ribs have been on for a couple of hours. They look great. Is our bark good enough for you?
Yes. So the way we test the bark is we touch it, and if it doesn't come off in our fingertips, that means that it passed the scratch test.
All right.
So that's the Maillard reaction. You really want to allow the crust to set before we wrap. So let's go ahead and take the probes off. And let's go ahead and wrap it. And you notice we had the little piece of foil as a black belt tip. That way it does not get too puddly. And let's go ahead and add a few products.
Okay.
Go ahead and sprinkle some rub on. I'll kind of show you how to do it, kind of like that. It's a nice layer of rub, just a little bit like that. Okay. Go ahead and get some brown sugar on it.
About the same amount, kind of?
Yeah, that's about right.
Okay.
Okay, cool. A little bit of cayenne.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna use a Korean cayenne here. And we're gonna add a little bit of more butter. So it's a butter cola. And go ahead and put some cola on it.
All right.
So whether you are sponsored by Pepsi or cola, it's all good. That's good.
Okay.
All right. And let's go ahead and wrap it now.
All right.
Okay.
So 2 layers of foil here.
2 layers of foil, and we do a burrito wrap. So.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay, burrito wrap. A burrito. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Ready to go?
Fantastic. There we go. So now we stick the probes back in this when we put it back on?
Yes, we'll put it back on and let it get to be nice and tender.
Okay. We're looking for something probably around 203. Is that right, Harry?
200 to 215.
So we're at about 174 right there. We got 25 degrees. That's not going to take too long when it's wrapped, right?
Yep. About an hour 15. So
okay.
It's a really fast
We'll close it back up.
Martin, the beef ribs, I think, are about ready. Why don't we do a probe test? Bring a thermopan over. Great. And we're going to probe it between the bones on the meat.
I'm going to let you go ahead.
All right, we're going to do it like this here. Poke it. And it's pretty soft. Okay. And look at the temperature. What is it showing?
201 right there.
201. What about this one?
203. 203. 203, 204.
Okay, so that feels pretty good, right? Nice and soft. What about this one?
203.
203.
205.
205, okay.
So, yeah. And 205. So,
okay, you think you like it falling off the bone tender, or you want it a bit of a...
I don't mind having a little bit of bite to it.
Okay, cool.
Either way is fine.
Let's go ahead and pull them.
All right. You just go into it?
Let's go into it and pick the better one here. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay.
Like picking a favorite child.
All right, let's go roll it on the side so we can make a little boat here so we don't spill all that wonderful juice on the table. Okay, so we're going to double check the tenderness here. Yeah. Ooh, that feels really, really good. Look at that. It's like...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, go ahead and poke it and feel. I like this one better. It's much more tender.
Yep, I agree.
Okay.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and slice a nice big honking piece here between the bone before the rain hits us. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Look at that.
Okay. Cut that piece here. Cut the piece here for me. I'll hold it up to this piece here.
Off like this?
No. This piece. Let's do 2 bones.
Okay.
So, folks, you can see a nice smoke ring here, and that's because of the wood. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. That is a good eating beef short rib. Super delish, salty, smoky, completely beefy, and super nice and tender. Well done.
Well done to you.
Okay.
I can taste that we layered those flavors, right? It's not just one flavor. I can get the umami. I get the salt and pepper. I get the spice that's in there, the brown sugar sweetness, the cola, and, cooked just to the right temperature. It's just fantastic.
So, folks, if you ever want to enjoy a beef short rib, this is a easy way to do that. Make sure that you have a thermopan ready and make sure you probe it for tenderness. Cook it until the crust sets, wrap it, throw a little bit of butter and cola, you're all set.
Thank you so much for watching with us today. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen here today. Be sure to check out more of Harry's videos over on his YouTube channel. You can also find his rubs on his website. And there you can learn how to make more great things like this. Until next time, thank you so much from all of us at ThermalWorks. Happy cooking.